partly why this stadium has the claim of being the worst away day in English football is because of this. A temporary stand, which is by no means temporary. It's been here years, but as far as I'm aware, I don't think it's being used for away fans at the moment. So that claim maybe is a little bit outdated. Now, I believe the away fans... the away fans are over there now, aren't they? For the bigger crowds. As the security guard clarified, they're over there, depending on crowd size and so on. They're playing Chesterfield today, who have sold all of their allocations, so we couldn't actually experience an away day here today. So we're going to be over there, so we can get a good eyeful, good glimpse as to what the away crowd is like, how their experience is and so on. But even though this is a little bit rough and ready, we need to give it the same treatment that we gave Kenilworth Road last night, that we gave Selhurst Park on Tuesday. We love the old school British grounds. No nonsense. Welcome to the memes, Priestfield Stadium. And as we make our way down the terraced housing, again, typical of an old school English, British football stadium. We've even got a Gillingham Town van over here, as if the ground couldn't be any more part of the community. As you can see, old school floodlights up there. And this, ladies and gents, this is what football is about. This is a ground in, again, I keep saying it, the heart of the bloody community. Let's take a closer look at this ground. Again, seems to be a trademark thing with these old school grounds. No nonsense, gritty alleyways. Not quite as tight as the one that runs down Fratton Park in Portsmouth. Stuff like this no one normally cares about, but I get really, really excited about this sort of stuff. In a kinky way, yes. Right guys, this must be the money shot. You've got the club shop in there. You've got banners along this side saying the pride of Kent. Are Gillingham the biggest club in Kent? So the people of Kent aren't blessed with options. Gillingham is the only club from the area currently playing in the English Football League. But despite being the pride of Kent, the ground, the Priestfield Stadium, has come under some criticism. Now, over the past couple of weeks, we've been looking at grounds people have branded as being some of the worst in English football, and honestly seeing if there's any truth in those rumours. I'm sure it's not that bad. Let's just have a look at some of the reviews, shall we? I'm sure there's loads and loads of positive reviews on TripAdvisor. Alex Angus said, "Stewards need sorting out. Where do I begin? Terrible home support, awful food, and as I was celebrating a goal, one steward shoved me and called me a see you next Tuesday. Really poor for a so-called family-friendly club. Absolutely seething with rage." Somebody else said, "Worst away end in the country. This may be a good stadium for home fans, but I can only write it as I was in the away end. Just hope the weather is good when you visit, as on a wet windy day there could be no worse place to watch football in the country. Disgraceful away stand." Ricey 1986 said, "Went down on a nice day, was impressed with the 3 decent stands for a lower league side. Once into the away end it was really shocking that they're allowed to have that as a permanent stand. The seats were uncomfortable and on the verge of breaking in the ones I sat on." I'm sure there's a joke in there for you, Ricey, maybe lay off the pork pies. "The local area is awful and not nice place to visit as an away fan. Glad I've ticked it off my list, but I won't be returning in a hurry." So obviously most of the criticism comes from away fans and mostly down to that temporary stand, albeit not temporary because it has been there a number of years. But what's it like for home fans? Well, we asked a Gillingham fan on his experience at the Priestfield Stadium over the years. Right guys, so we've got the pleasure of being joined by a Gillingham fan. Again, we've just been talking about how Gillingham often get called the Gills rather than...
Yeah, because there is a team down in the West Country called Gillingham.
Really?
And it's called Gillingham, yes, and it's spelt with a G.
With a G as well,
They pronounce their football team as Gillingham, but we are Gillingham.
Gillingham. I basically want to know what you love about Priestfield Stadium, why these grounds should again be cherished and celebrated rather than looked at negatively because they're a little bit old. I know you've come under criticism a little bit for the unused, currently the away temporary stand.
Yeah. Apparently it was going to be developed, but there was talk of us actually moving to a new ground.
To a new ground, yeah.
With the old chairman, Paul Scally, he was in sort of talks with the council to try and sell this ground off and purchase a piece of land not far from here. Yeah. But where that's gone, I don't know. I've been coming along here I'm 65, 66, get that right. And I've been coming along here since I've been a teenager. And to me, it is my home of football.
So would you be upset if that had happened and you'd moved away from here?
Personally, yes. Yeah. Because we don't warrant enough crowd. We can't generate enough crowd to warrant a new ground. You know, all these all-seater stadiums like Milton Keynes Dons, I've been
completely
there.
Empty.
It's empty. Yeah. You know, and it's a ghost town.
Yeah.
You know? It's a massive, lovely stadium. But
there's no atmosphere.
There's no atmosphere. The atmosphere at Priestfield, especially the Rainham end.
Yeah.
You know, it's electric. Over the past sort of 5 or 6 seasons, it has been a bit muted because the way we've been playing, and we haven't progressed from Division 2 to Division 1. What
have you been getting roughly in terms of attendance?
Crowds, well, obviously our first attendance was 7,000. Yeah,
I mean, there's talk, I spoke to the security over there who's speaking about that away end, obviously the temporary one that's not being used, about how that is apparently being developed, but again, is that something that's been spoken about for years? And
it has, It's called the Brian Moore stand.
Yeah.
You know, when I first used to come, I used to stand up there. It was terracing.
Yeah.
And it was the town end. It was always known as the town end. But then, obviously, the late Brian Moore, who was a director at Gillingham Football Club, it was named after him. But like I said, you know, chairmans have come and gone, managers have come and gone, and it's never been redeveloped, really.
No. I think we need to go and check out the club shop. I mean, let's be honest, does the shop make any contribution as to whether a stadium's good or bad? I think it does. I like buying tack. Let's go and have a look. Score prediction then? What are we saying?
I reckon 2-1.
2-1? Thank you very much.
Okay.
2-1, boys. Hey! Right guys, that's the Chesterfield coach rocking up. Now, thanks to, I didn't catch his name, gave us a good insight as to the ground and stuff. Apparently there is new investment in the club. Now, he did mention something which is good for us because we've got a lot of German subscribers on the channel. Apparently there's a fan club called the German Gills. You literally get fan clubs all over the world, don't you, for such random teams. Right guys, whilst I'm the opposite side to the shop, opposite from where we'll be sitting today, I've got Wikipedia up, and we know Wikipedia are always wrong. So if I do make mistakes, let us know in the comments below. It does have the capacity as 11,582, and apparently the Priestfield Stadium opened in 1893. And let's be honest, it does look like an 1893 stadium. It's rough and ready, but again, let's not be rude and disrespectful. Dying breed, ladies and gents, dying bloody breed. Right then guys, so as we headed into the Priestfield Stadium, obviously from a home perspective there's nothing wrong with this ground. It's charming, old school look I really like, and of course I'm positive and happy because I'm covered by a roof.
Unlike those away fans, there is a few in the corner under cover, but those on that temporary stand are completely exposed to the elements. Now, I don't know the name of the stand I'm currently in, but I'm guessing it's some kind of family stand as there's lots of kids, a mascot and so on. But I did like the fact that you could walk from one end to the other. But before we start talking about some of the positives of the ground, let's have one more negative review on TripAdvisor from an away day perspective. Stephen Alice titled this "Appalling for Away Supporters." I previously reviewed the stadium having taken one of the dining packages. That protects you from the awful experience it is for away supporters. How a professional football ground cannot provide cover now for away supporters is beyond me. Those on the terrace simply get soaked, as this stayed in nothing but pour. All food and drink is a courtyard behind the scaffolding. Toilets are essentially porter cabins. Queue in the rain for the drink and food, then stand there to drink it if you wish. This is 2021, not 1921. So there's 80 reviews on TripAdvisor and they've actually got 3.5 stars, so it can't all be bad. Andy C has rated it 5 stars, family friendly club. Visited for the first time and was impressed by the ground, atmosphere and the club's community spirit. Probably the best standard of football in Kent and excellent value for money. And now, if I'm speaking on my own personal experience, I didn't think the atmosphere was that great. Of course, I'm sat quite far away from the Rainham end, which is their noisy end. They had a drum, and the atmosphere was fairly decent from what I could hear from the Rainham end. But I'm not knocking Gillingham fans. I was at Notts County last season, and the Gillingham away support was fantastic. So, by no means the worst matchday atmosphere I've seen/heard in League 2, but not the best either. Somewhere middle of the road for me. Right guys, so I am finding it quite difficult to conclude this video. Of course, the title of being the worst away day in English football, you can understand. We weren't there, open to the elements on the away terracing, but from a home perspective, there's nothing wrong with it. I think it's weird in 2024 that there is no roof on a stand. Of course, we mentioned Wrexham. It was the norm years and years ago. Even more recently in Germany, the old school grounds were open terraces. I know back in the day when, English football grounds first opened, not all of the terraces had a roof, but it's kind of become the norm for decades now, and it is somewhat unusual to see in English football. I know they're temporary stands, and again, we keep mentioning Wrexham. So, Gillingham, I've got mixed thoughts, Really, there's only one way to remove the tag of the worst away day in English football, and that's take the open terraces down. But is it that much of a bother for Gillingham in terms of their own success and results? No, who cares about the away fans if you're looking at it from that perspective? Ladies and gents, we've got more stadiums that people regard as some of the worst in English football to come. This week we're going to be talking about the London Stadium, a complete contrast to this one. That's more to do with atmosphere and the fact you're miles away from the pitch. But I am next to numerous Bundesliga shirts, as we are going to be making a video on every single Bundesliga shirt off DHgate / real shirts. We've got some real, some fake for the like this behind me, and I'll see you in one of these videos.